Welcome. I'm Alex Levin. We're here together in Sun and Moon Yoga Studios portal on YouTube, obviously. Um, Half hour together. Gather what you need to stay warm enough. I'm delighted to have like a snow day coming that it's kind of darker and I can light a candle at this time of the day and it can be visible. I don't know, a candle makes the place a little bit special, doesn't it? So I'll introduce my theme as we ground, as we fully arrive, and then we'll do a little bit of movement. It'll be from standing. It is possible to do from seated or even lying down. So probably sitting on a chair easier because it'll be standing. We'll be lifting one leg. So if you're laying on your back, you can do that. Sitting in a chair as well. So nearby me, I have then for the final portion will be seated meditation, stillness. And you might, sit in a chair or be on your bed or any position that you choose, that you make a conscious choice to use for that. Usually, it's about 7 or 8 minutes. Maybe it'll be a little longer today, 10 minutes. So I have a cushion to sit on nearby, or I'm gonna grab a cushion that, can go under my knee. Be warm enough as we sit still and as I turned off my space heater to not compete with its noise. Um, It can get really chilly in this space, which is not outdoors, but it's all windows around me. So, yeah. So as you arrive. Like some of this practice is all about being present, being here, and we're never not right here. So, however, we're fragmented, right? So our body might be present. Our body's always present and right here, but our mind, I kind of feel like it's sometimes off in the past or the future. For me, it seems usually in the future, and it takes us away from being fully right here. So, since since the body is right here always, we can use the body to help us navigate back. Like we've never left, but we still need to find our way back. So, one way is to feel the parts of you touching the ground. Feel how you're rooted, feel how you are right here. And by the way, I want to thank you for being right here at this moment with me. Saw a name on the registrations, which are super helpful for me because through the YouTube setup, I can't tell who's there, but I know some of you are there later. Some of you tell me you're there. Patricia Morelli, I saw your name, and this is a blast from the way past. Gosh, 10, 11 years ago, was it? I don't know, but welcome. Thank you for being here. And thanks to all of you who join because it helps me to know that you're out there and I see that you join, right? I see numbers that join, and that's um, validating, although I would do this even if you're not there. So here, feeling through the body and feeling how you're balanced or not balanced, or what effort is needed, whatever effort you're exerting to keep yourself maybe upright, or even if you're lying down. Often in the corpse pose, I find myself gripping certain parts of myself. And as I tune in to feeling myself right here, right now, held by this field of gravity, held by the earth, they're sort of a working pair together. I lost the finish of that sentence. then you can start to feel if you need a little, whether it's a letting go or a slight shift, or you might not know. The way I'm sitting right now, there's a bit of strain in my low back. I'm not up on a cushion yet. I will be later, but I didn't put the cushion under me. So I'm going to modify, just as an example of what you could do. There's a part of me that's like, oh, but I should be up high, upright. But for me to be really comfortable right now and balanced, I'm going to let my back round a little bit. So I'm in a little bit of a bowing position. And I'm still tall upright. So what just happened there was an idea of what I thought I should be doing versus an action or that w- might make me feel more whole, more complete, more at ease that was not within that idea. But actually, if the idea is to be upright and to be this, and again, you could be laying down, it's fine. um, but to be upright, we have this, we are like an antenna. We're alert. Lying down is a little different energy, it's a little more relaxed, but you can still have the intent and set up the receptivity to be alert. And so maybe for you, it's a shift, like even a turning of your body a little. What would make you feel really most balanced, most comfortable, the easiest way to be here without strain? Let go of preconceived notions of what that is. And so as we arrive and feel ourselves more and more fully right here, perhaps tune in and just see what's your reason for doing this practice? Why are you here? I haven't used this question in a long time. I love this when one of my teachers on retreat would ask this. What brought you here? It's a way of so the question becomes like a really open question, and you might have um, a very specific reason you're here, a very kind of narrow reason for me to settle your mind, to for anxiety. It could be for um, peace, for freedom. Could be all of those. Could be curiosity. Just be honest with yourself. And then I'll share what my and one of my main background idea. I often have many goals at the same time for my practice. The image I used for this, the thumbnail for this video, is a bird's nest that had fallen into the snow. It's at the end of our block. And when I saw it walking my dog the other day, obviously it wasn't there. It was meant to be up in the tree above it. And such a sadness overcame me. Anyway, that's not the it's not the theme. That was what happened in the moment. But I thought, oh, I'm thinking of how we feel safe, how we feel to that how important it is to feel safe as we move forward in life, as we feel what our next choice is, our next step, our next direction, as we encounter over and over the unknown before us, even if everything seems like it's very known, how it really isn't. We have a plan, but life is what happens as you're busy making plans, right? So, a big part of what I'm interested in today is how we feel safe, how we know we're safe. And there are levels of that. There are like levels of, I've been especially thinking of that as people lost their homes in fires or in war zones. People have become refugees or at least chased from their where they live for the time being. And then there's the safety that listening to the safety that even when that happens, even when something's so tragic, when some huge loss that leaves you mm, quite not a questioning, but your identity or very much who am I and what am I supposed to do is upended. How do we find our mooring? Where do we ground? How do we get safe? Some of that is external needs. We need to have shelter. We need to have food. We need to have some warmth in the winter, some shelter from extreme heat in the summer. Mm. As Tommy's looking for his space. Speaking of home, I put a pillow in his usual space, so I opened that up for him. So for another moment before we stand or before we go to our mini movement, um, please invite you to ask yourself where, when I feel safe. What is it to remind yourself to bring to mind? And this could be something from long ago. It can be anywhere. It can be maybe you feel safe in a familiar woods or maybe unfamiliar when you're hiking. Maybe that's when you feel safe in nature. Maybe there's a certain person that offers for you an ambiance of safety. And maybe it's a place, maybe it's a chair, maybe it's your home. And take a little while to notice how your body feels with this inquiry of where do I feel safe? If, what I noticed in my body, not to predispose you to what you should feel or what you do feel, but um, I relaxed a little bit in my sort of my deep upper chest, heart area, my belly, as if a burden was lifted a little bit. I softened. And so what I just modeled there is as you find, and sometimes it's not so easy to find what is it? What's the new feeling? How is it different from how I was before? But with practice, we get better and better. And it's fascinating to me that even as I hadn't asked you to, well, we were feeling our body. We were a little bit feeling the ground and feeling ourselves right here, feeling balanced. So even without that, if you check in now, we sort of know if we've just shifted. Like we know in time, we know that maybe we were tense, and all of a sudden, when we brought our attention asking for the feel of safety or invoking that because of invoking a place, a time, a circumstance where we felt safe, the breath changed. And this is super valuable to keep checking in with how the body feels, what sensations are in there, what tensions, what holdings, what relaxations, what movements, what jitters, all of that super, super valuable information for us for our next step and just to feel ourself. Okay, so maybe, oh, and the other part I was going to say is for yourself, out loud if you can, if you're in a space where you can do that, get the most specific. So maybe you felt, oh, I softened. And I used that word, but I also used a bunch of other words. Not that you need many words, but listen for, is that exact? Is that the ding? Is that the, does it hit the tone of matching, the words matching what you are feeling? Find those words out loud if possible. And when you say them out loud, you might feel, oh, that's not quite right, or it's close, but not quite. All right. And mark those words. I'm going to mark deep to front body, inner softening. So that might not mean much to somebody else, but it notes it's a little bit more wordy than I wanted. About two, three, 4 words is good. But for me, that's specific now. Right. I decided to make a change. I'm going to do the movement for on my back. You could stand if you want and do this from standing. But I'm going to do this on my back, and hopefully I'll be in the gonna be seeing this. So we just you might lie down or you might do it again from sitting in a chair. I hope I'm audible sometimes when I move back here. So for some reason, even though I'm the sound is should be picking up through my ear pods. If you're lying down, knees bent. If you're sitting, your knees are already bent, sitting in a chair. If you're standing, your knees aren't bent, but that's okay. And just arrive again, arrive. Whole new body sensations if you've shifted your position. Check in with the breath, with our attention, that most valuable commodity, attention. And then if you're standing, begin to shift your weight onto one leg. Slowly, you can always bring the other leg back down, foot back down as you lift your foot out and let your leg lift your leg out in front of you. If you're laying down, if you're sitting, we can just lift the leg comfortably up. I'm going to even keep a little bend in my knee and just tilt the pelvis a little, roll the pelvis, find a balance here. And we'll move our foot. We'll just point and flex at the ankle. Point and flex. The foot that's lifted. Again, if you're standing, you can always bring your foot down. If you're standing, your leg that's doing this movement can be just a little bit up off the ground. So it's close if you need it. You could also hold on with your hand to the wall near you or a chair back. Okay, now let's do sort of a windshield wiper at the ankle, not the whole leg and not the knee, but an ankle, just letting the top of the foot go from side to side. You'll feel some curve with this. I like cleaning with your foot. Ooh, it's getting cold in here. Just a few times. Pause. I didn't pause after the first direction. You might even bring your foot back down. We have one more direction to go. A little bit like the 6 directions we did last 2 weeks ago with our spine. It was like 6 directions of the ankle we did. Front, back, side, side. And now we'll do a twist, which is a circle with the ankle. Slow and feeling if tension arises that might be deemed noticed to be unnecessary. Oh, I changed direction of my circle. Breathing, stay with the breath, stay with presence of being right here, and then bring your foot back down. Sense into the body, sense what messages, what sensations, what perhaps just with that little bit of movement, there's something different happening in the right and left sides of eyes, of shoulders, of lower back, of just the feel. Like my right side, the side that I just worked with, feels a little bit more expanded. Again, valuable to say it out loud, be specific, check to see that it's exactly accurate. And then the other side, to lift the foot and just find balance. If you're lying down like me on the floor, maybe a little tilting, just to find where everything is cooperating, is helping out in the perfect way. Just, just relaxing into the gravitational field, to rest on the earth, and then to allow us to flex and point, flex the foot and extend the foot so the toes go into pulling towards your head and then away from you. As you're moving, this little movement, watch to feel how the pull is. What happens? Is there any echo in the hip, in the belly, even up in the shoulders or the neck or the eyes, jaw, neck again? For me, something's alive in the neck. And pause. I'm actually just going to let my knee bend, let the leg relax down. Things change with our actions. And so the more specific we get, and now windshield wiping side to side, mostly at the ankle, the leg may turn at the knee, at the shin and thigh a little bit, but or even in the hip, but mostly be in the ankle movement. So these specifics, when we are really noticing what we chose to do, what the resulting feeling is. Oh, maybe start with how we are, where we started, our safe point, our ground, our roots, and then we take an action consciously, usually with some good reason. But then when we notice the reaction, sometimes it might not be, hmm, where am I now? Finding the safe place again, and what's the result? And then we recalibrate and go again, over and over. Here I am beginning. Where's my baseline here starting? Balanced, easeful, and now circles at the ankle. I'm afraid our meditation portion is going to be shorter. It was a lot in the arrival. And circles in the other direction. Again, feeling how this action at the ankle pulls through, pulls the strands, and affects something perhaps in the opposite hip, in the same hip, in the belly, in the back belly, in the heart area, in the eyes, in the top of the head, maybe. I'll let it go. Are the two sides evened up now? My left side feels longer than my right. Noticing. Super valuable. All right, perhaps you want to stay for our stillness portion right where you are, not make any move. I hope that was audible. I hope that'll come out good on the recording. Or like me, you can shift your position. I'm coming up to sitting, and oh, it's cold. It's getting cold in here. I'm glad I have at least the layers I do have, and a little candle. Oh, gracious. We're just going to have a 5.5 minute meditation. So there's been a lot of chat by me. Use the same pointers. Arrive, find the safe place, find the safe place. Observe, relax. Relocate the safe place as often as you need. Find your way back to it. We discovered it, and it may be different. You put into your GPS navigation to find that safe place, and it may take you back exactly to the same one, or with the wisdom of the navigation system, which is our knowing and our nervous system, it may take you to a new safe place, real or imaginary. Feel it here now. And from that safe place, I can simply watch, observe in a relaxed way all the thinking that might come, all the images, and perhaps especially be open to noticing just your own observing presence, like home, like safe home. Find your home again. Find what feels safe again and again. A few more breaths together in stillness. So as we sit in stillness, the edge before us, the next moment The unknown of it can be terrifying. The spaciousness that we encounter when we really let go, when we're really not grasping at any of our thoughts and sensations, can be terrifying. It can also feel wonderful. Or the recurring, maybe like nightmare of yours that comes to visit, or can also just be so overwhelming. And this practice of finding home, finding where we feel safe, finding what we need to feel safe, identifying the words, the feeling, taking the next step in that wisdom, and continuing to feed back that loop of, oh, what do I feel now? What do I need? We can do this with more and more um, graciousness and openness and relaxation instead of a combative, energy sucking defensiveness or preparedness to fight, which what I'm finding here is just exhausting. And so this practice is helping step out of that and find this new way of having so much groundedness and safety right here now that I can just be open and meet what's needed and yet to say no to what's not needed from safety, from home. Thank you so much for joining me today. Those of you out there, if you have the um, facility to add something into the chat, I'd love to know who's been here with me. Uh, Always so wonderful to have this time together. Please do check our Sun and Moon Studio Sun and Moon Studio, yeah, sunandmoonstudio.com online to see what offerings we have. We have lots of opportunities to be together in person and in virtual, to practice together, to support each other. That's what it's all about. See you next time.